Um, the biggest thing here is the evaluation of the West Hand. Well, actually, we'll come back to that in a second, but Steve's one spade overcall is a little suspect.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it if I wasn't a past hand, but getting thrown a spade bit out there, sometimes good things happen. And I certainly, if I had to guess what I wanted my partner to lead, it would be a spade. If they
Right.
got to three now, so
Yeah, well, once I did an overcall, it wasn't like you knew you wanted a spade lead if it was in the ball game. I would always because I don't I would need to have a good 5 card suit to.
Right, to
yeah,
override
if I was
it. And,
vulnerable, I wouldn't really feel good about it. But white, I think it's slightly positive equity to bid a spade with this hand, but not huge.
yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah,
So then going back to the evaluation of the West Ham, um, there wasn't much interesting in the play here. But so Eugene chose to open this 2-0. What do you guys think this hand is worth?
Actually, I think this hand is better than to know, but I wasn't sure what to do over a response of one heart, so I decided to simplify the auction and just open to know.
Okay.
yeah.
And
I'm not a fan of Tino. I mean, you have the hand's too good. It's funny to say that because you only have 19 points, so it's fewer than your high card point range. But from a trick perspective, I think your options are to either open two clubs, planning on rebidding 3-0, which should show about 8.5, 9 tricks, 8, 9 tricks, or open one club, and if your partner bid to one spade, bid 3-0, which would show a hand similar. And if your partner bid to heart, that's what your fear was, Eugene. But I wouldn't be that concerned, and I would make a false preference. I mean, a false reverse, fake reverse with two diamonds, and assume I'll be able to untangle the auction.
yeah, your thoughts, Gavin, Ari?
Yeah, I definitely I think it's too strong
Yeah,
to know.
I
I'm surprised about the two clubs, about what Steve said about two clubs followed by 3-0. Like, my instinct when I'm too strong for 2-0 is to open two clubs and rebid 2-0. I
I
guess the big problem with that is one partner is going to be evaluating for 22 points, and when you're king light, they're just going to bid 6-0 a little too often.
yeah. I mean, I decided that would have opened one club. I think that I'm right in range because a club has a spade past 3-0. I have eight tricks. And if he bids a heart, I'm not concerned bidding two diamonds. Um, you know,
If my partner was a past hand, I would just open two clubs and rebid 2-0. I don't see the same you know
Okay.
downside. And
Yeah, I mean, I like two clubs 3-0 because it's a more descriptive bid, and it's going to help you get to slams.
yeah, you just aren't you like a trick light for two clubs and 3-0?
I don't think so. I think that eight and a jack is right there.
Yeah, personally I would want a little more, but it's certainly interesting to see that the very modern trend of a 19 count being too good for a 2-0 opener, and just being considered for two clubs and then 3-0 or any number of other situations. The overall evaluation of these sorts of hands has changed a lot recently.
Yeah.
And, whether that's a good thing, the partner who jumps to 6-0 on their 11 count will let you know. But um, moving on to board 12, we have actually quite a lively auction here. The first decision in this auction was your choice to bid one spade rather than Michael's, Gavin.
Yeah, my spades are so much better than my clubs. I have a 6 card suit, and I was going to be in an equally bad position if when they bid 4 hearts, whether I bid Michaels or not. I'm not getting my second suit across, and by bidding a spade and then bidding 4 spades like I did, Steve knows that I've got something else going on. So there's no way that he could that I would have a 4 spade bid directly, or double in 4 spades, or double in two. I can't have a single suited spade hand that fits bidding 4 spades vol against not into my opponent's preempt. And to me, if I start with Michaels, it's just I'm showing. I would think that I'm showing. I would rather have 6 of my minor and 5 of my major to bid Michaels, especially with such a good spade suit.
And do you guys play intermediate jump over calls at these colors as well, or?
we do play intermediate jump over calls, and I actually felt like I was too strong for an intermediate jump over call. I thought, I don't know, it was just a weird situation. I thought one spade just seemed like a. I'd rather leave them as much room to bid. I don't want them to go two spades all pass, and which to me seemed more likely than one spade all pass.
Right, and then the next concern is that if you do make the intermediate jump over call, you have so much offense and not very much. You have a reasonable amount of defense, but your hand is just so offensive that I know I personally wouldn't feel comfortable defending after making an intermediate jump over call. But
I think the point Gavin makes about when he bid one spade and then four spades, I could be pretty confident and just have a one-suited spade hand is helped by the fact we play intermediate jump over calls. Without that, there's going to be hands that Gavin was going to bid one spade and jump to three spades later, or bid three spades later, or two spades later. But now, four hearts put a lot of pressure on him, and his best bet was to bid four spades when he was really not planning on bidding that high. But the fact that he didn't bid two spades directly over one heart, showing a good hand, directional, would make it easy for me to bid five clubs because he very likely has values besides just spades.
Right. So if East hadn't bid five hearts, you were going to pull the five clubs anyway.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And would that have been the final contract, or would you have felt tempted to raise, Gavin?
I wouldn't punish him for I need a lot from him for Slam to be right. I need him to have an extra honor. It just seems so big. I've learned from this year in the trials. We had a lot of these hands where you're guessing and bidding one more, and it just seemed like I learned from a lot of the better players that when you're in a spot like this and you're just completely guessing, you're just way better off just settling for your plus score and not gambling completely random slams.
Right, survival as opposed to perfection, I suppose. And
I'm pretty sure on this hand, Adam, by the way, I made a play that would get me thrown off the junior team.
That's very true. You, although I don't know. We need to follow the play all the way through, but I believe Steve forgot to beer on this hand.
Yeah, I did. It was awful.
I'm not sure if he could get the spots entirely right.
I think I had a lock.
Yeah, let's follow this through a little faster. Yeah, at that point, you were definitely a lock because you still had.
That was a total lock. I blame you guys for calling it a beer card, which I said at the other table, because they finished about 11 boards behind us because of Ari's connection. But I think it was called a vodka card. You get a lot more people involved of my age group compared to a beer card.
Yeah, I suppose, but maybe your age group should just learn to like beer. That would be, that would solve all of them.
All right, well that's the end of the first half, and thank you. And
we have
we do have the other table. Oh, sorry,
we do have the other table. Yeah.
Very interesting.
About an hour later, after the fact.
All right, exactly. I thought it was part of the second half.
Yes. So, at the other table, North also chose to overcall a spade, and then after five clubs, North felt South's immediate five clubs, which was quite a lot. But now North felt obligated to bid on, and so after six clubs pass, Ari faced a very interesting decision.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of these hands where they're either making or they're not. South bid five clubs freely, so I red on white, right? So it looks like he's bidding it to make. Now, obviously, the question here is, what's the likelihood that we're beating this, and how much are we going down? So how much are we going down? It didn't look like we were going down very many at all. I placed partner with, probably just two spades. So I figure we're going to lose two spades and, maybe another trick. So I was thinking we'd be down 300 most likely. And as far as whether we're beating them, well, I mean, partner didn't double six clubs. It doesn't look like we have any major suit tricks. The only question, of course, is are we cashing two diamonds? And in retrospect, maybe I don't know, maybe it doesn't seem that unlikely. North didn't queue 5 diamonds. I don't even know if that would be a qubit here, right?
Right. It's not entirely clear that would be.
Yeah.
But,
So I decided that the odds just seemed like if it's wrong, we're probably going to be turning a plus 100 into a minus 300, which is still bad, but
right,
not
it's
as
still
bad as
it's still my NIMS, but it's at least reasonable insurance. And when, as Gavin was saying before, when nobody knows whose hand it is, bid one. It's usually right to bid one more. And,
Yeah. Does anyone else have any thoughts on that decision here?
I think it's very close. I mean, if you take Declare's King of Hearts and make it the Ace of Diamonds, I'm not so sure the bidding is any different.
Right.
Well, except that Eugene would probably bid 6 hearts over 6 clubs if his Ace of Diamonds was the King of Hearts.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think that bidding 6 hearts is perfectly human and normal, and
Yeah,
not sure
I
if it's right or
definitely.
not.
I think it's
My
just-
bid is sort of wide ranging, so Eugene has to have like a perfectly defenseless hand.
Well, that is a perfectly defenseless hand. Like if he's got Ace King Queen Fifth of Hearts and Queen Jack Third of Spades, that's
right. Queen Jack Third of Spades.
They're
But
definitely.
Eugene could have had the same hand with like the Queen of Diamonds instead of maybe the Queen Jack of Diamonds instead of
Right.
the Ace of Diamonds.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly. That's why I bidding is just there's certainly a lot of hands. It's not so polarized to partner having the Ace of Diamonds because they can't have Ace King Queen of Hearts. There's lots of hands that partner can
Plus,
have.
I mean, as we saw, not every South is going to bid 5 clubs with this, right? So South is more, it's likely that South has a somewhat better hand.
Right, and partner could also have had the King of Spades instead of the Queen. A partner could have had King Jack of Spades, where it's very clear that Declarer is going to be able to finesse it if they need to, and whatever partner's spade values may be, it's clear that they're not working at all on defense. And I think that 6 hearts is a reasonable shot for sure.
Eugene, what were you going to lead?
I was actually thinking about it because I had some time, and I actually think I was going to lead the Ace of Diamonds because I was looking at the Queen Jack Third of Spades, and I knew that my right-hand opponent was unlikely to have a spade length, so the spades were going to rough out for tricks, and it didn't seem like their best chance to beat the contract was to lead the Ace of Diamonds.
I agree.
It's always just so miserable being on lead against a slam with 2 aces, though.
Oh yeah, it's the worst. I hate it. I wish I was never on lead against slams with 2 aces.
I really, really hate it.
Yeah.
I would
Does
much
anyone
rather
have
be on lead and try to have to find partners 2 aces.
Does anyone have any agreement about what a double of 5 hearts would have been?
I think it would say don't lead a heart.
That's what I would play. That's what it would be
Yeah,
for me.
me too. Definitely.
I mean, these anti-lead directional doubles are very, very, precarious because you can have mix-ups if you're not absolutely clear about when they apply. But I think especially on the 5 level, and when you've shown at least 4 or 5 cards in the suit, it definitely should be applying.
Yeah.
All right. Can we call it that is the end of the first half? And thank you, everybody. And we are stuck 13 at the half. Come back and check us out when we stage our comeback.
Alrighty, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.